Did Rona have you at the grocery store buying dry goods that you've never used before? We know her. Did Rona have you at Aldi telling yourself that baking is going to be your new hobby? If you answered yes to either of those questions, then I might be able to help you. Might not. My name's Nicole, and I've been cooking for about 20 years, and today I'm going to show you how to make two things. First is red pottage with lentils, and the second is leavened bread boiled in oil. Now, I'm not going to suggest that the bread recipe is from any specific Caribbean country, because I don't want you guys coming at me, but I will say that I represent a few, so let's get started.
For the sake of all kitchens, I will be using a regular 12-ounce mug for measurements. I will not be using a large mug or this cute small one that my friend got me in Greece. For the spices, I will be using a tablespoon and a teaspoon. Now when I use them, we will not be heaping them very much. The measurement should come just about even with the top slightly above it is great. So we got some garlic, about 4 cloves, small onion, 2 carrots, that was 2 tomatoes, and a little bit of cilantro. And then I'll be using some celery that I've already cut, chopped, and froze earlier this week. So I'll probably use about, what would it be, the equivalent of 1 to 2 stalks, depending on the size. So now everything's chopped. Doesn't really matter what size. The determination is going to be based on if you want smooth soup or not. So if you want it to be smooth, you can blend it all at the end. Or if you want it to be chunky, you can cut it whatever size you want those chunks to be. Now, washing lentils. Lentils. Water. And they'll float a little bit. Rinse. Drain. And repeat that like 2 or 3 times. For the seasonings, I suggest paprika, teaspoon, something like that. Chili powder, pretty much any kind you have is fine. Just make sure if it has salt, you don't over salt your food. Teaspoon of that. Salt, teaspoon. Close enough. And pepper is optional. You can use white pepper, you can use black pepper, and this will be about a half teaspoon. Yeah. Now, other optional spices, if you have it. Ground cumin, very good. Put about a half teaspoon of that. If you have turmeric that you buy and repackage in ice cream containers, because that's amazing, we'll take about a half teaspoon of that. And then if you want it spicy, you can put cayenne pepper in there. About a half teaspoon, quarter, depending on what you like. And last but not least, if you have bay leaf, this little thing just rounds out the flavor. So that's what we got. On medium heat. And tablespoon. We're gonna use 3 tablespoons of oil. I'm using olive oil because I have it. Any kind of oil will actually work. You don't have to use this much oil. It's all up to you. So let the oil heat for 1 to 2 minutes. And then bring over your onions and garlic. About 2 minutes. Throw in your spices. Try not to break up the bay leaf if you have it in there, because you don't really want to break that up and digest it. You just want to leave it in, let the flavor go in, and then take it out at the end. So now you can add pretty much all the rest of the ingredients at the same time. of course, the lentils. Rinse that out with water. At this point, you can turn the heat all the way to high. 1 mug of water right here. Four. So once it starts to boil, turn it down to medium heat, medium low, and check it in 30 minutes. Well, check it before that, especially if you don't know how to cook. 1 mug of flour. Baking powder. 1 leveled teaspoon. Not baking soda. That will not taste the same. Salt. Just about a half teaspoon, or a little bit more than a half teaspoon. It's optional. You can add a tablespoon of coconut oil, or you can add butter or shortening or oil, tablespoon, and take a fork and mix that in. Just keep mixing it in. Cut the fat. Now we're going to start with a half a mug of water. I'm actually not putting all that in there. That was probably a third of a mug of water. Two tablespoons of flour on top of that so that you can now knead it. Bring the edge to the middle. Edge, middle. 2 tablespoons of flour I added is pretty much done. So now I'm just going to let it rest for 10 minutes. You may or may not need to add another tablespoon of flour. That's what I did because it's a little sticky. And at this point, you're going to peel off a golf ball size, put some flour on it, fold it all into the middle, right, so the other side turns smooth. Then roll. Now your thumb should be folding in, and then you'll have a nice little ball. Squeeze the center in to flatten it out so it should look like a donut, but don't push a hole through the center. Make them all look like that. Pro tip, put a little bit of the dough separate to test the oil. So frying pan, medium to low heat. Oil, depending on the size of your pan, take a fork, dip it into the oil before the oil is hot. And you want it just under a 1/4 inch, so just under a 1/4 inch. And then as it heats up, it'll expand a little bit. Unlike other cooking shows, I will now show you that the oil is not yet hot yet. Put it in. Actually, I lied, it is hot. So, put it in. It starts to bubble. So we're good, actually, surprisingly. But if it wasn't, then we would not be continuing to do this because it's not ready. It's not ready. It's a little cold. You see how that one's not bubbling quite right yet? Couple minutes each side. Heat, you are now watching our leavened bread boil in oil. Notice as they boil, the little impression we had is starting to flatten out. This one's still kind of deep, but these two have risen, leavened. So as the bottoms get golden brown, just go ahead and flip that over. It's not quite. See, it's still a little pale. Put that right back down. So after the flip, when they're both golden brown, both sides, take it out, paper towel. See that? Boiled in oil. Roll it around, take off some of that oil. 30 minutes later, you should be seeing something like this. The lentils are cooked down. Everything's kind of coming together. What you gotta do is find the bay leaf. There it is. Take it out. Now at this point, if you want to throw it into a magic bullet type blender, a regular blender, or if you have an immersion blender, I would suggest the immersion blender and blend it to however you want it to be. Pottage in our leavened bread, and you can garnish it with cilantro. And I would highly suggest you add lemons. lemon juice to the soup. Yes, I know it sounds weird, and I can't explain it. I just don't know, but it takes this soup so high, you know, it just up to the sky. And when I think about the goodness this adds, it makes me wanna stop, roll credits, and eat.